Welcome to the Purple Pod. My name's Pete Morgan, and what we do here is we sit down and talk about the albums and associated music of His Royal Purpleness, the artist that shall always be known, formerly and now, as Prince. Joining us in this episode is Dean. Dean, hello.
Hello there, Captain Morgan on the good ship Purple Pod. How are you?
Good. Now, full disclosure, Dean and I have known each other for several months. It's quite a few years, isn't it?
It's one or two. It's one or two. Is it one or is it two? I can never figure it out. It's got to be over a decade or so.
It must be. Yeah, it must be. So, it'd be about 12 years. Yeah. So, it will try our best not to be in any way incestuous with our chat. So, which of Prince's albums have you decided to chat about today?
There is only one Prince album. Actually, there's not. There's two Prince albums. But I'm not allowed to have Batman.
No.
Lovesexy.
Yes. Excellent.
Just the greatest album.
Yeah. So a couple of Lovesexy facts. It's the 10th full-length studio album released worldwide in May of 1998, just 13 months after Sign of the Times. The majority of the album was written in, some reports say, as little as 2 months, because Prince was ready to release the Black Album in the early part of 88, but chose to pull it in December of 87, saying that it was too dark. And of course, there's only one track that survived from the Black Album to Lovesexy, which we will get to in a little bit.
And do you know, Pete, I didn't even realise, I mean, I'm not a diehard all the way through Prince fan. I mean, I am Madonna's love child, so she bore me and I turned into this. But I didn't know about the Black Album being ready to go, ready to be released.
Oh, yeah.
Ready. Even the order of the tracks that he wanted to release. Yes. I didn't know this until probably about 2 years ago. Genuinely, because I was there. I've always heard about the Black Album. I thought, it's one of those ones. It's a bit like the stuff from the vaults. It's just something that was put together, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't realise how close it was to being Lovesexy.
Yeah. And they released it years later. I've got a CD of it somewhere.
Yeah.
And I love it. There's some great music on it. I'm sure we'll talk about it in another episode. But I get the thing of it's too dark. I mean, if you kind of go from Sign of the Times, if that had been his next one, it was like he was really pissed off when and then was like, oh, hello. And and then he had some sugar, had a sleep.
He had a little nap. He had a little sit down. He went, do you know what? I'm not feeling as grumpy as I was earlier.
No.
I'll have a crack at Lovesexy.
It is absolutely, so to use the Lovesexy kind of metaphors and characters, Lovesexy is Lovesexy's album, and the Black Album is Spooky Electric's album. It's absolutely the two sides, but it's great. It's a great listen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the Black Album. Controversial, bit of controversy there. Probably because I came at Prince pretty much. Purple Rain hit me like a freight train.
Right.
Around the World was just brilliant, quite boppy. I thought, I like this, I like that. And then Sign of the Times, and I was like, okay, again, quite boppy, because I'd only really heard You Got the Look, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Until I bought the album, I went, whoa, hang on a minute, this has got two LPs to it. What's this? And then heard The Cross. I know we're not talking about Sign of the Times, but I heard The Cross and I thought, oh, I like this. This is different, which is where I thought, okay, I think I've really misunderstood Prince.
Yeah.
But I've since heard the Black Album, and it's kind of like, if The Cross got really, really cross and he was trying really hard to, from what I can gather, is to get back to his black roots and to try and re-engage with some of the black music fans. I listened to it and I thought, okay, it's a bit too grumpy for me.
Yeah.
So when I found out like Lovesexy was literally in the space of a couple of weeks that he threw this together, I was like, what? Because for me, you know, Lovesexy is like, it's practically perfection.
Yeah. It's and it's strange because I know commercially it was a duff one for him. It was his least successful. So this was 88. It was his least successful commercial album since 1980.
Well, he was Fighting Bad by Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's true. And, you know, that was absolutely packed with hits. This was kind of back to being a Prince album as well. I know Sheila E. played drums on a few tracks, and I know he used the band, you know, his new band on a couple of tracks, but this was just him. He was doing everything. So, you know, he didn't have Quincy Jones kind of calling the shots or, you know, Rod Temperton writing him songs left, right, and centre. So, I mean,
it's quite interesting. I listened to, what was the one that's just been released? Is it Silver Tongue?
Yes.
That's just been released. I listened to that and thought, this is the piano. That's just Prince just sat there, melancholy jamming. And then these lyrics probably just came from nowhere. So when I listen to Prince on Lovesexy, I can just think of him. I think after Lovesexy, I always assumed Prince did everything. You know, he did it all. He just then got the others to come in and go, could you have a crack at that? This is what I want you to do. And that was evident with things like Batman. You know, that album was just, there was nobody else. It was just him.
It was.
And you hear that later on, Emancipation, Come, all of those, you hear it is just Prince. And with Lovesexy, the thing that I liked about it is that you can tell it's just him because all the characters that are hidden underneath the music are different facets of his personality.
Yeah.
You know, there are some of the amazing bits where you hear the ad-lib in the background and you have to stop it and go, did I just hear him say, I'm Andre Crabtree the third, I got more holes in the golf course?
Golf course.
You go, what's that? And then you think, you know damn well he's taken that character somewhere else as well. There's probably an album of Andre Crabtree somewhere. But yeah. It is. Like I say, Lovesexy is practically perfect.
Brilliant.
I've got issues with it, which I'm sure we'll delve into because I think it's 2 songs too long.
Okay.
No, it's 1 song too long.
Well, we'll definitely get to that, and because it's been interesting, kind of listening to it through as I've been doing in preparation for this chat. I've really loved going back and kind of hearing it in its complete form again. It's also worth saying as well, you know, if you didn't know, Lovesexy, of course, was meant to be 1 track or 2 tracks on the vinyl.
Yeah.
You know, it was all, and I think initially when it was on, certainly Spotify,
it was just 1 whole track.
Just 1 whole track of it's about 45 minutes.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying. I mean, I listened to it the other day on Spotify. I got it streaming from I've got one of those awful little FM transmitters in the car that you can stream from your phone. And I'm there going, do you know what? I'm in an absolute, I think we had like about 30 seconds of summer. So the sun was shining. And I thought, I need to hear Alphabet Street and I Wish You Heaven. So I thought, right, that's it. It's Lovesexy or nothing. I thought the journey is about an hour.
Easy.
I'm just going to put it on and just leave it.
Easy.
Well, bugger me. It stopped, didn't it? Each track stops because Spotify has that little bit in there. And I thought, what is he doing? And I looked at all these tracks. I thought, Lovesexy is not, 9 tracks long or whatever. Yeah, 9 tracks long.
Yeah.
Lovesexy is what you put it on and you shut up. You don't move. So I found myself getting really, really cross. In the end, I switched it off and I put Vogue on by Madonna.
Well, we won't do it all as one track, but we'll kind of go through the track. If we start at the very beginning, it's a very good place to start.
It is.
Which is I Know, and I was trying to think. I think this is the first track where he used a symbol in the title of it rather than the letter, and he used that symbol of the
I.
I don't think there is another track that he'd had before this point.
I'm trying to think of the back cover to the Purple Rain album, because I know that was stylized lettering. Things like Computer Blue was in block, but I don't think he used this will be definitely the first time that he's used a symbol for a word, and purposely spelling KNOW as NO. So I know with that. That's one of the things that intrigued me as well. Is when you look at it and you go, I mean, when you see some text speak now, and you look at it, you go, you have to sit there and think, this man was doing this back in like 88 or 87, 88 is when he was doing it, and you're thinking, geez, because
that's the thing. I'll admit, when I first happened across it, I was like, oh, come on, give it a rest. And it really it bothered me because, I was a proper English student. English was my subject. I loved it, and books and literature and stuff. So all of this was like, oh, stop it. Come on now. Spell the word right. Come on, Prince. You're better than this.
And I think, in a way, the opening track really managed to piss off a lot of English tutors.
Oh, yeah.
Because people were like, oh, I can use an I. I'll just draw an I instead. I am, was it? I think, therefore I am. I draw a little I. There we go. It's the same with you. I still write you.
Oh, letter U.
Before you even get into the first track on it, front cover.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Jeez.
this incredible, and I think I'd heard about this before I heard the album. Yeah. I mean, it was banned in several record shops, several record chains banned it and would serve it in black plastic, which is ridiculous, seeing as the Black Album was the one that had been pulled, because you can't see anything.
No,
he's nude, and it's quite I think, I mean, obviously there's a stylized image because he's in the petals of a flower and things like that, but I think he's been photoshopped there. There's been some smoothing of areas.
Where's his puppy fat?
Where's his love handles for
where for crying out loud? But I mean, I can remember seeing, I was 14 at the time, and again, for anyone who's remotely interested, I'm as gay as the day is long. So when this came out, initially when I saw it, I was quite put off because I thought, who's she?
Yeah.
Because on the front cover, there was no Prince, there was the album.
No.
And I can remember going into Magpie Records in Worcester and walking in, and there was a giant version of it, and I looked at it, I thought, who's she? And then it was my mate Kathy that went, well, that's Prince, that's the Lovesexy album. I was like, is this what everyone's been banging on about? So yeah, I was like, wow. It's kind of, it brings me to mind of whenever anyone talks about like the best album cover of all time, you've got like Rumours by Fleetwood Mac or Nirvana, Nevermind.
Yeah.
Those sort of iconic, that sits right at the top there. And I don't even know who took the picture.
I did know, but it kind of follows on quite nicely from Sign of the Times, of course, which was
is it Jean-Baptiste Mondino?
It was, yeah, all based on a photo by him, yeah.
So that explains everything.
Yes, based on a photo by. But it like I say, kind of had that connection to Sign of the Times, because that was quite an arresting cover. From really kind of 1999 onwards, he'd been inventive with the covers of the album. And this was just the latest one. It was tremendous. I mean, major look.
Yeah. I mean, you think of, many people will say, Madonna, the queen of marketing, reinvent. But then you take a look at Prince's album covers and you go, right, For You, Parade, Purple Rain, they're iconic. And I think it was probably maybe Graffiti Bridge, but then after that I kind of went, no, you've peaked in terms of your album cover. But for Lovesexy, that's your front door. That just screams, come on in. And to even think that Black Album could have replaced that, and the front cover, it embodies the musicality that's on the inside of it as well.
Yeah, because that was the other thing as well with this album. He'd clearly gone to a new place spiritually. It was, a joyous album in the main, but there was a much more kind of bigger mention of religion and God, and God is love, love is God, and that kind of thing. And that was, again, I know kicks all that off. There is that spirit, because at the beginning, the first voice we hear is the "Rain is wet, sugar is sweet."
Ingrid
Chavez, of course, from which people might know from Graffiti Bridge, and indeed the Madonna connection with Ingrid Chavez of "Justify My Love," and then he kind of brings in, because that's the band is on that. It's not just him; that's the whole band.
Yeah, and
on the Lovesexy tour. So have you seen the Lovesexy tour?
Oh yeah,
good. Which, if you haven't, is superb. I think you can find it on YouTube now. You can't, but I don't think it's available on DVD, and it's not available on VHS. I've still got it on VHS, but I no longer have a VHS player. And he kind of plays it in the second half of the thing, and it's pretty much as it is on the album.
Absolutely,
it's a band song, it's a live song.
I wonder if he brought the band in to go, we've got to do something. I've done this stuff is not being released, and then he sort of put that in the bag. Played with that one, done. I know. I think again you can hear them on Lovesexy, and then the stuff in between is probably just him.
Yeah. I like I say, I think Sheila. So I think Sheila played drums on Dance On.
Yeah.
But that was kind of it. It was just, and what I love, I know, does what a good first track of an album does, which that importance of it has fallen away now with the way that we take albums on board and you just kind of do it. But it absolutely makes the statement of intent of, right, here's where we're going for the next 45 minutes. It's,
and if you listen to it again, I think it's just before Ingrid starts saying, rain is wet, sugar is sweet, clap your hands, stomp your feet. You hear the fire in the background. You can hear fire crackling, and knowing what I know now, is that Prince burning the Black Album?
Yeah, it could be, because this is the thing. So I had it on cassette, the album, at one point. I don't think I think I originally got it on vinyl, and then at some point I got it on cassette. And the Walkman I had, you didn't have to take the cassette out and turn it over.
Oh, you had money as a kid, Pete.
I'm telling you now, my mum and dad had one of the most, successful newsagents in South Manchester.
There's me slipping an HB in to try and rewind a tape. Blimey.
But what you would do is you press a button and it'd just click to the other side. And the album ends with water.
Okay.
And you hear water trickling. And I think I'd been listening to Pink Floyd's album The Wall, which is a circular album as well. So at the very end of Pink Floyd's album The Wall, when the wall has come down, you hear somebody say, "Isn't this where?" And if you put the beginning of the first song on, as it comes in, you just hear someone say, "We came in." So it's...
Oh, right.
And I was thinking, oh, Prince has done this as well. Ends with water, so that'll extinguish the fire. And I don't know, or it was like two elements.
One of the reasons then that I've never made that connection is my most controversial point about the album is I hate the final song. I know, don't shoot me at all. Ironically, positivity. So it's kind of that, when I get to that point, I'm like, nah, you're all right, mate. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I am going to have to listen to that again tonight and have it and loop it. I want to see what else I've missed. Because I've always said, since I knew about sort of like the Black Album, or it was that he'd done Sign of the Times and he got really pissed off with, everyone going, "You Got the Look" is the song. I've always thought he started off Lovesexy by just burning down the house and just getting rid of everything before and just embarking on this new polka dot, lavender scented, long haired, chilled out, spiritual dude. Who brought the funk was born even more so. Well, actually, I kind of think, that's where the glam became that's where he started it from. And it's interesting as well, within that first track, within I Know, within the first 30 seconds, you get the first mention of the new power generation.
Yeah.
Which is, it says, "Welcome to the new power generation. The reason there's no...
there's no smack in my brain." Oh,
yeah.
No. The reason my voice is so clear
is there's no smack in my brain. And then followed by the archetypal "Ow" from Prince.
Yeah.
Which then goes boom into the song.
Yeah.
So you've got, he was talking about new power generation. Just how far ahead was he thinking?
Yeah.
That, the new power generation, Graffiti Bridge, all that way far forward, a decade almost.
Well,
and
yeah, as we, as he's proved on several occasions, he'll write songs and write music and have things and just keep them in his back pocket until it's like, yeah, okay, this worked. And indeed, he kind of did bits of that with this. This, the frame of this song, the music's taken from a song called The Ball, which was going to be on the kind of the original Crystal Ball album, but he kind of aborted it, but he still had it there and thought, oh, actually, the music works with this kind of, is that kind of thing. And it's that kind of, because as we said, it's meant to be listened to as one track. And by and large, he adheres to that by joining the songs up. It doesn't end and then there's that brief gap, and then the next one starts, and he joins this up with the band talking, as you say, and becoming characters, and which he he kind of started, again, for me, he started on Sign of the Times with that. There is some of that in on the Black album before there's a great instrumental called Two Nigs United for West Compton. And it's just people talking, Cat's in there, and he's responding to Cat, and you can hear other band members. But this one is probably the most famous one with Andre Crabtree III.
Got more holes than a golf course. Dearly beloved, let us pray. You go, what? What are you talking about? I just love the fact. So I know starts off as kind of like you don't really know what's going to happen. You know, you've got the fire, you've got Ingrid, this softly spoken, beautiful sounding woman, and then you've got Prince just saying, you know, welcome to the new power generation, and then it goes boom, and it's like a punch in the gut because you go, right, this is it. It's not the best song on the album, but by God, you know, what a way to open up. It's like, you know, it's like it's literally burning down the house and kicking everything off, and then you get to the end of it, and then you've got the cacophony of voices. And I think the clever thing with this album, listening to it as a one piece, others have tried. Madonna tried with Confessions on a Dance Floor. You know, suddenly you get the start of another song just coming in as the one ends, whereas Prince is weaving that. He's weaving Alphabet Street into I Know long before you've even got sort of like 3/4 of the way through the track, which is just genius because you don't then subtly you don't notice it changes. Doesn't it? It not just only changes tempo, it changes rhythm, it changes, you know, style, and then you slide into another song.
That, again, that's the thing with I Know. It isn't a 3-minute pop song. It's you know, he's got everything in there. There's spoken word, there is funk, there's guitars, there's his band, so there's horns, there's bass, there's, you know, and it does kind of take you on that journey. And like I said, it's a statement of intent of this is what we're going to be doing for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's an introduction to a new era.
Exactly. And then, as you say, he goes into... So Alphabet Street was already known because that had come out 3 weeks before the album. That was the first single, and that was kind of the announcement single.
And a god-awful video.
Oh.
Bloody awful.
It's so strange because as a video artist, he's done some great videos, but similarly, he's done some absolutely dreadful videos. And this was what it was like. He was like, listen, guys, let me have a look here. Digs in his pocket.
Yeah.
32 pounds. I've got 32
Or he
pounds.
sat there and gone, oh, there's a YTS lad over there. What's that? You got a ZX Spectrum. What can you do on that? You can do fonts. Crack on. I'll tell you what. The world's worst green screen, the world's worst overlaying of lyrics.
Yeah.
In a god-awful font. But and of any song that deserves just a fantastic video, Alphabet Street is the one.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, I mean, my best friend, Catherine, and I, almost on a weekly basis, will kick off. We'll be talking to each other. I call her Babington. She calls me Sandwich. I don't know why. But invariably, at some point, when we're chatting during the day, one of us will go, talk to me, lover, come and tell me what you taste. Didn't mama tell you life is too good to waste? Did she tell you love sexy was the glamour of them all? You can hang, you can trip, you surely won't fall. No side effects, the feeling lasts forever. Straight up, it tastes good, it makes you feel clever. You kiss your enemies like you know you should, and then you check you out like a honey pony would. Now run and tell your mum about that.
What I love about... one of the things I really love about that, so that was actually taken from another unreleased song called Bloody Mouth.
Okay.
Which we may hear at some point, and someone may have it on a bootleg somewhere. So that again was that announcement of it ain't just me.
Yeah.
There's this other person, and Cat became a real prominent figure, really. On covers of singles, in videos, certainly in the live tour. The opening kind of section of when they come on stage, and Erotic City and Housequake in the Lovesexy tour was predominantly Prince, Cat, and Sheila E.
Yeah.
It was the three of them, and Cat became such a major figure. And this was, again, that kind of, listen to this.
Yeah.
It was, for me, I think it's my favourite track on the album. It's just so good. And obviously, the single was what I always call the first half of the song.
Yes.
So it doesn't have the rap.
Once you get, I can remember hearing it. So when Kathy and I played the album, we didn't know about the rap.
Right, okay.
So we were like, that's when we were like, what was that? Play it again, play it again, play it again. Play it again, play it again, play it again. Let's try and write the words down. Play it again, play it again. She's like, no, I don't want to ruin the record. So it's like, okay, well, we'll go and use your sister's version, because her sister had it on tape as well. And we do that thing where you press play, but you then press rewind without stopping it. So you actually stretch the tape. So that's how we learned the rap on that one. But, okay, yeah, it is. It's just a huge tune. It came out before, and I think that's one of the reasons I kind of thought, I might quite like this. It's quite, because I did like You Got the Look and played that one. So, once I Know kicked in, you go, oh, it's not what I thought. And then when you hear it, when the two of them combine and it starts, and you got the voices over, and it's the ow in there. And then you got this, it is, I can remember New York Times said it's an irresistible groove. Yeah. And it still bloody is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Is. Yeah, I mean, when I've been listening to it recently, as it's come on, I'm like, yes to all of this. Just, and I love the, I'm going to drive 66, 67. Just that the little
to Tennessee, which is where Arrested Development, when they took that sample.
Yeah.
So when you listen to Arrested Development's song Tennessee, the first 10 seconds is Prince going Tennessee to Tennessee, Tennessee, and then that moves into something completely different. Because at the point when I heard Arrested Development for the first time, when I was living in America, I thought, oh, Prince is sampling his own stuff. And I went, oh, it doesn't sound like Prince. So no, it's a completely different band. But yeah,
it's the humour which we all know he's got, and I mean, I think the fans know that he's got humour, because I like the, right now, run and tell your mum about that, and while you're at it, tell your pop about this, which is just, I don't know, just a really cheeky line, because,
and then again bringing in, I don't know if it's Kat or whether it's Ingrid Chavez that does the A, B, C.
That's Ingrid, yeah.
Okay, because I love that bit where it just goes, H, I love you. And it's like, and that's the perfect point to sort of like break down into, to go into Glam Slam.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, now we're moving into quite possibly one of my faves on the album.
I mean, Glam Slam it's such an underrated song. It was included. Let's just have a look here. It was released as the album's second single. Wasn't included on the hits and B-sides compilation, but was.
Yeah, the Pope was bloody hell. Exactly. I mean, seriously.
But Pink Cashmere, which was on hits and B-sides, when that was released in Europe, Glam Slam was the B-side.
Oh.
It's weird, but I just think it is one of those underrated songs. I love it. It goes.
It's superb.
Oh,
it is superb. It is musical perfection. Yeah. For the simple fact is, I'm going to make a comparison I never thought I could make, which is ABBA and Prince. Put them in the same room. Who's going to come out fighting? My man is on Agneta. But right. So if you listen to ABBA's songs, people go, oh, it's just cheese, it's just pop. They are so intricate.
Yeah.
Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. You've got this, you've got a classical guitar with a piano and a hi-hat and a kick drum, and then you've got this. That's ABBA. Listen to Glam Slam, and there's probably like 5 songs fighting one another for dominance.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's like grandiose production on steroids. It's so Prince, but it's so not Prince.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like, it's pure funk. It's pure funk. I mean, God, call a nightclub Glam Slam, you'd make a killing.
Yeah, well, obviously he did ones in real life.
Yeah.
Well, of course, that was the name of one of the clubs in Graffiti Bridge.
Yeah.
Was Glam Slam, and that was, it was a term that he kept around like New Power Generation, for a lot. Because if you think about it, really, Lovesexy as a term kind of died out
completely.
After the tour, he didn't really use it again, but Glam Slam, that stayed, that hung around for a bit.
New Power Generation, that stuck. Glam Slam, that stuck. The Hours, that stuck. It all stuck. But Lovesexy, because I did read once that, he called it Lovesexy to be, one to contradict the other. You can't have sex without love. You can't have love without sex. And he put them together, and he's obviously wanting this mashup to stick, a bit like, changing your name to a symbol. I want that to stick. It will never change. And it just bloody didn't. But Glam Slam, and again, like you say, one of the most underrated songs on the album. And, diehard Prince fans know it. They know it inside out. Yeah. But if you sat there with a couple of your mates and said, oh, what's your favourite Prince song? They're all going to go When Doves Cry, Purple Rain, Raspberry Beret, maybe Diamonds and Pearls or Cream. Yeah. But they're not going to sit around and go, Glam Slam. Like that. Whereas for Prince fans, for the Purple people, it is pure Prince. Like you say, the term Glam Slam stuck around long after the song had finished and moved into...
And I think part of it was he used it within... obviously the well-known phrase is wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Yep. And he just put Glam Slam.
Glam Slam, thank you, ma'am.
Exactly.
Pray you'll always stay. You will always stay. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Ow! Again.
Was Sun is risen, moon is gone. Soda fizzing on the lawn. I don't know what he means, but do I need to know what he means? No, of course.
Heavy feather flicker nipple. Come on.
Exactly.
Water scream, baby. Oh no, well, baby scream, water ripple. Yeah. I don't understand. It means I love you. Okay.
Oh yeah. Right. I know if I was going out with somebody and they said, heavy feather flicker nipple, I'd be like, let me out the car. Let me out the car right now.
I wouldn't. I'd say, is it auto locking? Shall we crack on? Heavy feather. Oh, flicker nipple. I don't understand. It means I love you, and that's just it. We accept it.
Yeah.
It does, there will be people of our generation that grew up listening to all Prince songs, listening to Lovesexy, that would know. If someone said to you, have you ever flicker nipple, baby scream, water ripple, it means I love you.
And again, I always think of...
Thank you, ma'am.
I always think of its place, when he performed it live, part of the Lovesexy tour. It was a party song. It was and if you go back and listen to it, this is one of the tracks where nobody's on it but him.
Yes,
all him, all the band
pure Prince,
him,
pure Prince.
Yeah, and but he makes it sound like there's a room full of people and we are having a good time.
Isn't that frightening though? That I sat there and went, with ABBA, it's all about the layering. This is one man sat in a studio creating that.
Yeah.
Just that, not even...
If this was me, I'd do that song and go, well, that'll do.
That'll do.
I'll take the rest of the week off now.
Yeah.
But, he'd have done that and then gone, right, 10 minutes later, what's next? Let's get on to to the.
Well, the thing is, it's so uplifting. I think it's because it like I said before, that whole sort of really grand production. It's like all this intricacy, all this stuff happening in the background. It's like a musical cacophony that suddenly goes into just a piano.
Yeah.
Into the start for Anastasia, and you go. And for me, when I first heard it, because I mean, this is like throwing memories right back at me. 14-year-old Dean was sat there going, "What the hell?" I don't know. I'm really into this song with a naked man on the front. First of all, I don't know if I'm Martha or Martha, all this and then the other. And then all of a sudden, you go from this real just funk glam into Anastasia, which is just. It's like someone's just ripped his heart out at the end of Glam Slam and said, right, sit down and deal with this shit.
That's all you're left with now is this piano.
Yeah.
So, and he has to effectively kind of build it all back up, which is what he does over the course of, quite a few minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, it is, Anastasia is a haunting song.
Yeah.
At the start. And then at the end of it, it gets back to being, it's just a belter.
Yeah.
And there aren't many, I can't think of many artists then, before or now, that can take you on that sort of musical journey like that. Maybe the likes of someone like, I'm going to make comparisons now. You got the Bruno Mars, you got the Lenny Kravitz. I mean, they're all Prince light anyway, so they can do it. They can weave that in. But for Anastasia, because it is such I want to say it's a sad song, but it's not a sad song at all.
No, it's I think I always think of it as quite a reflective song.
Yeah,
it's something that I thought
raw. It's raw.
It is raw. Yes, something that I thought with this album, because we've already kind of talked about it with I Know and with Glam Slam, and as to whether or not he actually wrote this album to be live, that he was writing it thinking and imagining the staging of it, because this used to close. So this closed the first half of the Lovesexy show. So the first half was quite a few tracks off the Black album, which is weird because people will be like,
what the hell's this?
And he would do kind of some of his earlier stuff, but he'd do like Sister and Head and, the darker stuff. And then he would end with the half with this, and the kind of platform that he was on, because he'd play it at the piano, would rise up and up and up, and he'd get quite close to the lights. And he, depending on what night, he would generally kind of riff, just talking out loud about God and about love. And I think the longest one of those clocked in at about 40 minutes of him just talking about,
it's the Ken Dodd of the musical world, isn't it?
Religious love. And then that's just the end of the first half. And then the second half was a lot of Lovesexy and the big bangers that were all, 1999 and stuff like that. And I think because he ended with Alphabet Street, I think.
I mean, Anastasia is one of those songs where, you can hear it. By the time you get to the end of it, you're kind of like, I could do with having a little break now. Yeah. I could do with having, I'll have a fag and I'll have a little sit down and I'll think about it while I'm having a poo. And then once that's done, I'll come back to it because I've reflected, and I'm sure he's got more to say in my head. So I said before that I think, I've already said that I don't like positivity.
Yeah.
So I always think Lovesexy should just be an 8-track song.
Okay.
Album. I've always thought that. I've always thought that Anastasia should go into When Two Are in Love, then into I Wish You Heaven, and it should end on Lovesexy. I've always thought that. However, when I sit there and I've put the album on, And in my head, I'm going, yep, I know what's going to come up next, and I know what order I would do it in, and blah, blah, blah. And I get to Anastasia, and I go, I do need a little bit of sit down, or I need something to absolutely bring me back up.
And he does that, like we say, it starts with just a piano, and of course it ends with just the piano. He takes you right up and then brings you right back down again to just the piano. And if you had the vinyl version, and to be fair, if you had the cassette version, that's the end. That's the end of side one.
Yeah.
So you have got that gap. There is no, I mean, to be fair, so the next track, first track on side 2, or the 5th track on the album,
pick it up,
is Dance On. I would have loved to have seen what kind of transition he could have made.
Yeah, that would have been seamless. Wallace is up there 40 minutes later playing on the piano, middle of the Lovesexy. How are you going to come down from that? Oh, all right. Yeah. But you know that he would have done it brilliantly. But again, 4 tracks on the one side, this is Prince. I would have thought there would have been some sort of equilibrium. He could have just had 4 on the other side and got rid of that awful one at the end. But that's just me. That's just me. Sorry. But yeah, Dance On.
Yeah.
Once you've gone from the what I call the heart of the album, which is Anastasia, and it does it. I mean, for a start, it conjures up, who is she?
Yeah.
What has she done to you?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you go, actually, is it her? Are you Anastasia, Prince? Is this a love song to yourself? What are you? I mean, it does blow your mind. But then he goes into Dance On, and you're like, couldn't care less.
Yeah, none of that.
Time to absolutely get up.
And that's quite difficult, I think, for all Prince fans. Is one, he didn't like talking about the past.
Yep.
And he never liked talking about the meaning behind songs.
Yes.
It always took somebody else. I know that Mavis Staples gave away a few secrets. Oh, to be fair, Mavis Staples said every Prince song had a bit of Prince in it. There was a bit of his life in it in some way. Whether
didn't he get pissed off that she'd sort of talked about the meaning behind a song? Because
he might have done, yeah.
I always got the impression, because like I say, Madonna fan, she's the first to go, this is what that song means. You're like, all right, yes ma'am. Whereas with Prince, it was always this is what this song could be.
Yeah. And what do you think it means?
Yeah, exactly. The answer is yes. What does this song mean to you?
Yeah.
With every Prince song, I'm sure there are quite a few Prince songs where you go, well, actually, that's really personal. That's got to be about. But
I think Anastasia might be one of those that was a personal song. Whereas, as you say, Dance On, although there's a little bit of politics in there, Detroit, what's happening?
Yeah. Eminem Killers playing Mickey Mouse games.
Exactly.
Stealing ladies' purses.
It's a funk groove, and that is it.
Oh, it is.
And this is just him and Sheila E. Because it was all built around. He always reminds me when I hear this, and this is an odd comparison. It reminds me of Paul Simon's 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, because Paul Simon.
Hello, left field.
Here we go. Right, stay with me.
Stay on your feet, Pete.
So 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, that rhythm of that was basically a practice routine that his tour drummer used to do to just get himself warmed up. And Paul Simon heard him doing it one day and was like, oh, wow, yeah, I really like that. Can I record it and I'll loop it? And that's how he wrote the song. Dance On sounds like something that Sheila E. would...
Yeah, that was probably just there.
Yeah,
snare drum and a hi-hat. And doing, having a little bit of that. And he's there going... and goes into it. I nearly went to the Doctor Who theme then, crying out loud.
Dance on, damaging off and dancing on.
Ooh, Sheila-y.
I also love that we hear Sheila-y breathe in this as well. Just that.
Yes. Because if you ever saw her live, man alive, there aren't many drummers that come close.
And the thing is, even now, she is still an incredible force to be reckoned with. She is. I didn't realise, and it was only when I kind of read up a little bit more on her. I mean, she was pretty much royalty in kind of the percussion world, certainly in South American music, before working with Prince. But since then, she's like a global percussion icon. Now she's an incredible drummer.
Yeah.
I love listening to her, and I love that this was a song that I kind of put into my. I had it in it's my kind of general playlist, so it only has a few Prince songs in there, and this is one. And when people say, "Oh, can you put together like a funky Prince playlist for us?" this will generally go in there.
Oh yeah.
But
yes,
it's all about Sheila-y. She absolutely brings it on this.
Yeah, I always remember the. Have you seen the We Are the World documentary?
I've not seen it yet, but I've heard.
Oh, again. I mean, I always knew they wanted Prince on there.
Yeah,
and that Sheila-y was there and just hung around and did absolutely nothing until she realised they want me for Prince.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just like you say, she's a phenomenal drummer. This is her song.
Yeah.
So she's like a Latina, like you say, Latina royalty anyway, singer in her own right, blah 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 blah. But if this, I wonder if he sort of thought, oh, this is her song. I'll write this for her.
Yeah, well, because this was all. So this was kind of the basic track for this was kind of done around the time that she was at Paisley Park recording her own stuff. She'd done kind of some like lead vocal overdubs on some of her own solo stuff, which he was producing at the same time. So he could well have been. I mean, again, like I say, if you look at the lyrics, there is, as you know, we've mentioned Detroit What's Happening, and grenade launchers roar in a television sky. Clearly, this is it's him being socially aware. I mean, it's no sign of the times, but no. He's definitely in a place when he was kind of writing this.
It's like, I want to send a message.
Yeah.
I want to send a message, and the only way I can do it is if we dance on. It's kind of like, it's almost like, so, I love Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire.
Oh, my part.
And I learned all the words to it. Learned all the words, and off the back of that, read up on each bit.
Nice.
So it's kind of like, there's a little bit of that. So yeah, this is, although this is an absolute high octane song, it is socially charged. It's making a point, unapologetically making a point.
Yeah.
And then kind of going, fuck it, throw it away at the end. I'm done.
Well, because he'd only recently kind of done that. I mean, there was a little bit, obviously, on 1999. But he'd never been massively overtly, kind of making social statements. I know he did Ronnie Talk to Russia on Controversy, but Sign of the Times was a much more of a proclamation about social awareness and where we are. And I think this was just, he'd kind of got a stream and thought, it didn't kill me to talk out loud like that. Yeah. So
there is an anger.
Yeah.
Although, like I say, it's, not an anger. That's wrong. Aggressive. It's got like an aggressive rhythm to it. And if he was coming off the back of the Black Album, being a socially charged Tomb of Work, maybe this is a hang on from there, and he's gone, I know that I need to get this out, because the rest of the album is pretty much, lovely, gossamer fluff.
I wonder, actually, even though, like I say, the basic tracking took place middle of December, I wonder if he maybe had this pegged for the Black Album. But you know,
we will never ever know.
That's the thing. We will.
And I like that though. I like the fact we'll never know.
I mean, it's been lovely to hear like Susan Rogers talk about her time working with him, and you know, to hear different people come out and tell little stories. So we just get that glimpse of who he was as a person. But yeah, I'm happy with the mystique. I'm happy with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can remember reading an interview from Mel B, of all people, of Spice Girls, and she'd been asked to go and interview him, and she was like, "All right, okay, I'll just rock up." And she was quite clever with the interview because she said, you know, oh, you walk around, there's guitars everywhere, and there's the cymbal here, and it's, you know, it smells of patchouli and lavender, and it's all lovely and whatever. And she said, and I did get to meet and chat, but she said, I'm not going to tell you what we talked about.
Yeah.
When I wasn't interviewing him, I was like, yeah, I like that. I want that mystique. I do want to know, was this originally for the Black Album? I want to know, Pete. I want to know. But if you know, don't tell me.
No, you're right. I won't. Don't worry about it. So that, and you know, it's a relatively short song. It's not a big one, but then it goes into, it's the title track. And this is, I mean, this was recorded quite late. This came out in May. This was recorded end of January.
Bloody hell.
He was up against it at this point. And again, this is all him.
Yes.
This is,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Sheila
on it.
plays a bit on this, as I think she did pretty much every song. But this is all him. And he had another song called Lovesexy, 2 words, but the love spelled Luv. And from what I remember, that was something that he'd kind of maybe, I think he'd been working with Wendy and Lisa. And he kind of was, by ending the revolution, he wanted to get rid of that influence kind of.
Yeah.
And just created this kind of brand new song.
Yeah.
You know,
I think of, if you're right, okay, take the song Lovesexy, right? And the track before it, Dance On, right? If they had a baby, it would be Get Off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just got it in there, isn't it? I mean, again, controversially, this is in the wrong place. Track 6, Lovesexy, it needs to be track 8, which I've already said is the last song should be the last song on the album. Because even in the lyrics, he again says, rain is wet, sugar is sweet, clap your hands on your feet. So I think clearly Lovesexy was supposed to bookend the album.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would make sense, because I mean, I love all the, you know, the kind of tripping all over the floor and the kind of
over the floor,
you know, the kind of I'm going to write my name on your walls and all that kind of thing. Which at the time I was very
swiveling your love seat.
Yeah. I was incredibly innocent, thinking, all right, well, she's got some furniture. What is going to graffiti her house? Why is he doing that for?
What's he doing that for? I mean, what are you doing that for, darling? That's not good.
Is everything all right at home? You okay, hon?
Do you want to have a little lie down, Prince? Are you all right? I love that end, the bit where, I mean, it's Prince. Like you say, This is just Prince. So there's the conversation between the man and the woman.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's Prince, which makes me go, that's quite a powerful message. That's all about self-love, isn't it? You know, is he actually, I mean, I mentioned earlier, you know, there's different characters, or is Anastasia him? Is he talking to himself? Has he broken his own heart? Whereas you get to Lovesexy and you go, all right, because there is a point where when the woman turns into Prince, it sounds like it should be the conversation carries on.
Yeah.
So I sit there and go, this song's all about self-love.
Because this does contain the two characters they're name checked of Lovesexy and Spooky Electric.
Yeah.
And again, I really like the line of, you remember last you made me cry. You put my name upon my thigh, which of course that became the costume for the tour. Was the words down the leg kind of thing. And again, that comes back to, I wonder if he did he had the whole tour plan, the whole visual and how it all looked planned out. But it was very good. I love Lovesexy.
Lovesexy, yeah. Pretty Little Whip. You got me dripping all over the floor. Over the floor. It's just,
when I come back, I want a body like yours.
Yes.
And it's like, well, I know he ain't talking to me.
Yeah, well, no, he ain't. Blind me. He need a much bigger swivel seat for me, crying out loud. But yeah, this song, this is, Glam Slam, Alphabet Street, Lovesexy. I know they're kind of, apart from Glam Slam, I know that Lovesexy and Alphabet Street are probably two that your average Joe is going to go, oh yeah, no, I've heard that one.
Yeah.
I've heard that one, but I think with Lovesexy, they've not heard all the way through.
No.
They certainly haven't heard Lovesexy talk at all. So again, it makes me love this song even more because, at the heart of it, I mean, if it is all about self-love, fantastic. It's all about masturbation, and I'm all for that on a song.
Exactly.
No, not on a song, but you know what I mean. Although, there are a couple of Prince songs where you think, did he?
You do? Really? Well, yes. Yeah.
But it's just vibrant.
Yeah.
It is vibrant. It's what the front cover isn't. So the front cover is beautiful and sort of like it's artistic. This starts off as art and just descends into. It starts with love. It ends sexy.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. It does. It starts almost. Like I say, it's almost. It's spiritual love.
Yeah.
It's almost that, and at the end, that is not spiritual love that he's talking about there.
Yeah.
It's the kind of love that we've known Prince for, at this point for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. And he keeps the love theme going for when two are in love.
Two are in love.
Which, of course, is the only song that came from the Black Album.
Now this again was, so everything I've heard about the Black Album and people going, those that have heard it have gone, oh, it's grit, it's dark. And then you've got this.
Yeah. And it's odd because if you hear the album with this on it, which obviously it is, the first time you hear it, because you've heard Lovesexy a few times, it's a bit jarring. So you're like, oh, wait a minute, what's, I know this after Lovesexy and before I Wish You Heaven. But on this, it kind of, on the Black Album, it still sits, it works within the album because it's a love song, but it's quite a dirty love song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
this is the other interesting thing with this. So if you listen back to When Two Are in Love, so you've got the simple strings, you've got that simple kick beat. Listen to that. Listen to the new Silver Tongue.
Yeah.
Even though that's piano, there's a real sensual grace in that. But you listen to When Two Are in Love and then go and listen to Arms of Orion from the Batman album.
Oh yeah. I mean, they
are like symbiotic. They are just the same song, just taking it up a little bit. So it's like When Two Are in Love, and then you get into the Arms of Orion. I mean, it is a beautiful, like you say, it's a romance, but it's a romance with such intimacy.
Anytime he used his falsetto, you knew you were in, for a good
You're in trouble.
because he just does it so well.
Yeah.
And
you're either in trouble or you're in his bed, one or the other.
Yeah. And because at the end it is that, just hold me. Yeah, just like that. And you get, because the song's kind of coming to an end, you get the sense that, right, okay, it's cuddle time now.
Yeah.
We've had the main event.
We're snuggling now. You've done Lovesexy. You've swiveled all over my seat. Your pretty little whip has been dripping all over the floor. Now, come on.
I
Let's have a
want to
nice
walk
little
right down your
cuddle.
walls. I mean, the thing I can never get over, because of course he produced an album for Sheena Easton. He produced a couple of albums, but one of them was called Sugar Walls.
Sugar Walls.
I can't believe that.
Let me come inside your sugar walls.
No.
Sheena Easton. My baby takes the train. Yeah, Sugar Walls. But yeah, I think this is in the wrong place. I think Lovesexy should end everything. So I think this is kind of like a nice follow-on from Anastasia. This could be sort of like, this is the cuddle period.
Yeah.
Before you go into the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful I Wish You Heaven.
It never fails to make me smile, this song. I adore I Wish You Heaven.
It's like, it is a natural sequel to The Ladder.
Yeah.
From Around the World in a Day. It's just, I tell you, whenever I hear this, unfortunately, I think I hear Love Thy Will Be Done.
Yeah.
And then it makes me really angry that he gave that to Martika, because that's just criminal. But I Wish You Heaven, I mean, it makes me think, so 1988, like I said, I'm a Madonna fan, so I was bereft in 1988 because she just gave up. She was doing some sort of David Mamet play, Speed the Plow.
Yeah.
So she wasn't releasing. Nothing came out in 88. I was pig sick of Michael Jackson because he'd released about 700 songs off the Bad album, which we must touch on. What would Bad have been like if Prince had duetted with him? But no, that's for whoever's doing the Bad album. You have a crack at that one. But I Wish You Heaven it just came at the right time for me. It was 14-year-old lad, didn't fully understand that I was a homosexual man. So when I heard I Wish You Heaven, it was just like, oh, this is just beautiful.
Yeah.
He's singing to me. This is a song about love and tranquility, and it's the things that, this 14-year-old boy wrestling with just nonsense and trying his damnedest to be, a straight guy in 1988.
Oh my God.
When it was, we're talking, the Tombstone AIDS advert time.
Yeah.
All that upheaval. But I Wish You Heaven. It's just so beautiful. The
other thing about this song, I mean, one, I love. I don't know why, because it's a bit of a clunky lyric, but I extracted a meaning from it, and I love that. Is if I say 11, you can say it's 7, and I love that because for me, what he's saying there is, no matter what you say, I love you.
Yeah.
And I, no matter, we don't have to agree.
Yeah.
I love you. And I really like that. And the other thing I think about this is, we've talked about what an incredible guitar player he was.
Oh.
I think this has got one of the most underrated kind of guitar sections on it at the end.
Well, interestingly as well, with that one, if you listen to the guitar in Like a Prayer by Madonna, it's so very much I Wish You Heaven. So once he just lets go and just licks, it's, so at the end of the Like a Prayer album, there's a song called Act of Contrition, which has got Prince playing guitar backwards, which is phenomenal to hear. But even though it's backwards, it's pure Prince. It's Prince.
Yeah.
So when you hear it on Like a Prayer the right way round, you can hear it in I Wish You Heaven, which, if you think about it, a real strong guitar in what is basically a really nice spiritual message.
Mm.
But yeah, I like what you say. It's almost like, with your other half, if she says, "Oh, the sky's blue," and you saw it, it was green, you're going to say, "You're right. It's the most beautiful blue I've ever seen."
Yeah.
It's just lovely. And it's what's the one about when the world's compassion ceases? Still, I know.
Yeah.
For every touch, I thank you so much.
Because again, it's that, and it differs when I read it, when I listen to it. Is it to another person, or is it to a higher power?
Yeah.
Who is it directed to? And again, does it matter? We're never going to find out. But I just, there's times when I think, oh no, I can imagine singing it. Not that I would ever do this, to my wife.
Yeah.
But there's times that I can imagine him singing it to God, and
yes,
kind of going that way.
With I Wish You Heaven as well. If you literally only just thought of this, if you played it and then played the cross, off the back of it, you wouldn't think, different albums, different styles, different whatever. You'd think, the one is a sort of like somebody coming to peace with their spirituality and then going into, quite a religious overtone song. But I Wish You Heaven is just, it's just beautiful. It shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be at track 8. It should be track 6, and this track should be Lovesexy, and then the last one should not even be on the album.
I think what you might have to do is do like a Spotify playlist, which is Dean's proper, or wish list order of Lovesexy.
That no Prince fan in their right mind should ever say Positivity should not be on there. I probably am the only person. My friend Kathy would be absolutely livid. And I think what he could have done, again, like I say, 1988, the environment that we're in, if the album came out, was it May 88 this came out?
Yeah.
6 months later, Madonna releases Like a Prayer with the patchouli scented inset talking about acceptance of HIV and AIDS and fighting ignorance. This song's called Positivity. This could have been a real rally cry, of acceptance for people dealing with HIV AIDS.
Yeah.
It is an uplifting song, so it could have been so much more. I just feel like it's a bit of an afterthought. I genuinely think Lovesexy should have closed the album. I think the end of Positivity could have probably they could have a nice blend from Lovesexy into the end. But I mean, like you say, it ends with water. The album starts with fire. I never get this far because I really can't stick this song. I don't care how uplifting the chorus is. I don't care how deep the groove is. I just don't bloody like it.
Hey, do you know something? I'm just having a look here at set list for Lovesexy Tour. I don't think he did it. I don't think he did.
Because even he couldn't stick it.
I'm just on setlist.fm at the moment. And no, I mean, he did some absolute bangers. But let's have a no. I don't think he did it on the tour.
And do you know why, Pete? Because it's shit. No, it's not. It's not shit. I will listen to it simply because it's there.
Well, I mean, if ever there was damning with fame praise, I mean that's such a dig. I'll listen to it.
I'll listen to it because
it's there.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, I'll eat it because you've cooked it, but I can either way. I don't give a...
Do you know, genuinely, I've never considered it in that way before. I've just always thought, but from you talking about it in that way...
I've ruined an album for you.
No, you've not ruined it. You could never...
Oh, no, because Prince already ruined it by sticking this on the end.
Yeah. To be fair, my wife has done her utmost to ruin Prince for me in the 20 years we've been together, and she hasn't even got close.
If she says 11, you're going to go, no, darling, it's 7. Crack on.
Get over yourself. Although she came with us to see Prince when he did the 21 Nights at the O2, and she only came to kind of laugh at me because she knew I would get a bit emotional. And indeed I did. When he came on stage, I just cried like a child because I'd got myself a little bit overexcited. Yeah, and that's the only time she's been with us to see him. I've seen him 8 times, and that's the only time was that she came, and also her and my best friend Ian take the mick out of Purple Rain and say, "What's it called? What's that one called again?
What's that track? What's that one?"
He pretty much started with it at the O2, did it in the first handful of songs, and Joe was like, "Oh, well, that's ruined it." Thought he'd have it at the end. But yeah, so she couldn't ruin it. But you've made me think about this album again, and yes, it isn't. I'm all for anything that encourages, positive thoughts or kind of uplifting of others and things like that. But it's not one. I don't think I've ever put it on a compilation. Don't think I've ever added it to a playlist for a friend. No. It's just kind of there.
How tragic that positivity has created so much negativity. And the damn man didn't even play it on his set list.
I'd love to know what other people, if you're listening to this, I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts about. I mean, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the album as a. So I've always said, listen, neither of us are world experts. Neither of us are the biggest Prince fan in the world. We're just having a chat, and you're welcome to kind of join in with the conversation.
I know what they're thinking, and I know what they're going to email in, Pete. They're going to say, "You're never having that camp fool on again, who knows nothing about Prince."
But that's not to kind of try and put a square in a square peg in a round hole. I don't think any of us knew him. Certainly none of the fans knew him. We might have thought we knew him. So all I know is I love the music. I love what he put out, and he made me feel good about myself and good about music, and he introduced me to people. I never would have heard Mavis Staples if it wasn't for him. I probably wouldn't have heard George Clinton if it wasn't for him, or I wouldn't have heard as much of James Brown if it wasn't for him.
I was literally about to say, I don't think I would have had as much respect for the music of James Brown if I had Bruno Mars. We wouldn't have Bruno Mars, Lenny Kravitz, even Madonna. I mean, they did a duet. They did the song "Love Song."
They did.
On Like a Prayer.
That was on Like a Prayer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the third track. So it goes Like a Prayer, Express Yourself. How do you top that? You bring in Prince and you do Love Song, and it is a phenomenal song because apparently they got together. They were going to write a musical, and this was born from it. And they never worked. They were never in the same studio at the same time doing this song. They would record it on tape and send and do by courier, and then she'd do another line and send it back, and that's how the song became. And Love Song is just a brilliant song. Yeah. One, because it's got Madonna singing at her rawest at the end, but Prince, when you listen to it, you can hear Prince just sort of like giving her the side eye as if to say, "This is mine. This is all me." Yeah,
and I think that's why they probably didn't write the musical. I mean, the egos of those two he wouldn't have worked with him being in
No,
the same room.
no. It's a bit like when they say, what would have happened if Prince had appeared on Bad, if he duetted on the song Bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's whether this is, I don't know if this is true, it's disputed, whatever. When Prince said that the first line was "Your butt is mine," and he was like, "Nope, I'm out."
Because he said it in interviews, and because he said that line, "Your butt is mine." He said, "Who's singing that to who?" Because I'm telling you now, there's no way you're singing it to me, and I sure ain't singing it to you.
But yeah, I mean, if Madonna love song, Prince. There's his guitar on Like a Prayer, uncredited, and also on a Madonna track called Supernatural. The opening line, which is about her sleeping with a ghost and getting pregnant, the opening is this guitar lick that just never ends, and it's just beautiful. And you go, "Oh, hello, she's gone funky." That was Prince.
Brilliant. I love it. I love it.
But yeah, Lovesexy, one of those albums. It opened the door to new music for me. It solidified my friendship with Catherine. We learn. I mean, the Cats rap in Alphabet Street. Like I said earlier, we still do it on a weekly basis. There is never a conversation where we're not, or a day where we're not together. And she'll say, "Cat, I need you to rap," and that's it. And I'm off, or she's off, or one or the other. But Lovesexy just epitomized 1988. There was the, off the back of Sign of the Times, how do you follow up brilliance? Sign of the Times. You release Genius, which is Lovesexy. How do you, what can you possibly do? How do you follow up Genius? Madness, because then he did Batman.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the things. I think it was. I'm trying to think who it was. It was a big rapper of the 80s who said, the thing with Prince is fans of an artist don't like them to stay the same, but they have a real go at them when they change. And that's what Prince is up against, because every album, even from For You to Prince, that was a leap forward. And then kind of Dirty Mind comes about and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
So, and every album was a step away from the last. There was always touchstones, there was always things, but every album was we've moved on from that. This. We've moved.
It's experimenting. It's taking music and it's taking sound and doing exactly what you should be doing with it, and that's playing with it.
Yeah.
People mock Madonna for constantly reinventing herself. Prince did exactly the same thing with his music. She's experimental. He's experimental. I mean, Michael Jackson only released a couple of albums anyway, and he stuck with the same formula, but I think he was just a product of the superstardom phase.
Yeah, absolutely. But those kind of big artists, you see it with Gaga, you see it with Beyonce. We've certainly seen it, with her. We've certainly seen it with Taylor Swift, where they do that. Right, I can't be that I was. I can't be last album person. What's the new persona? What's the new place I'm going to go to?
Well, it's like with us, with all of us, everyone that's listening. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. I mean, I'm not the same person I was an hour and a half ago. When we started the podcast, because now I'm sort of questioning myself on a couple of songs, and I go, what? Apart from the last one, apart from Positivity. But Prince got that. Prince understood that. He knew that music, sound was at the heart of everything, and he just threw everything into Lovesexy, and it blows my mind that he created this in a matter of weeks. This is like magnum opus sort of material, and he's like, I'm just going to chuck this bugger together. Here you go, put that out, because I didn't like the last one.
if you look at it, I mean, the timeline, he pulled the Black album, in the first week of December, and then literally days later, he was in the studio doing I Know and Alphabet Street, and, I Wish You Heaven was the end of January. So he literally had it all done. The basic framework of this album was done in those 8 weeks. And he had Christmas and New Year in there. So he, probably took a couple of days off for that.
Couple of days, bit of eggnog.
Exactly.
Bit of eggnog. Our old Lang Syne, him and Kat. Should all acquaintance be forgot?
In fact,
what's that there? Black Album, forget it. Move on.
One of them was recorded, I think, if not the 31st, then certainly the 30th of December, So while everyone else is kind of sorting themselves out, he was like, right, okay, we've got to be doing this. It was. He said,
"Oh, go on, please say it's Positivity, because it would make so much sense. He's hungover."
It was Alphabet Street. Basic track was recorded on the 30th of December.
So while the rest of us are there putting the vol-au-vents together and thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have an Advocar. I'm just gonna eat everything because I start the new year afresh," he bangs out Alphabet Street.
Yeah.
The man was a genius. I know that word is bandied around, but he's the soundtrack. Him and Madonna are the soundtrack of my life. And I was in high school from 85 to 90, quite possibly the best years ever in music. And he saw me through, Mm-hmm. Like I say, 88, I didn't know who I was going to become. I knew I was different, and I knew that I got an album that I bought thinking, "Who's she?" on the front cover. And now Pretty Little Whip got me dripping all over the floor. So, I mean,
I love it.
Oh, dear.
Dean, thank you so much.
I've absolutely loved it, Pete. I've absolutely loved it. There should be more of this. I can't wait to hear all the others. There are a couple of albums I want to hear people's opinions on, because they make me think, why, Prince? Why did you do that? I just want to hear what people think of those. But thank you so much